Wealth is a Choice podcast. Boom.
Let's listen to it. Let's listen to it.
All right, brother. You ready?
Ready.
Good to have you here, man.
Good to be here.
Yeah, we're going to talk about biking today because it's kind of strange how you and I both got into it. I joined a number of your rides. You guys have one hell of an operation going on. You got whistles and vests and megaphones and speedsters going up and down checking on everybody.
And almost 1,700 members in our We Bike Detroit biking club now.
It's fantastic. A couple hundred people each time, it seems like, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it started, this is actually our 15th year we've been doing this. And started, my brother was having a difficult time in his life. We wanted to do something to kind of pick his spirits up. And so we grabbed some of our friends and said, you know, we can do this. And everybody was paying pretty high costs to go to bike rides. We said, you know, we all pay taxes for the rides. Why don't we just do something to create a better community, create a better environment? And so that's how it started. And that first year, we maybe had 50, 60 people on a ride. And we had
That's a lot, actually, right in the beginning.
Well, it kind of is. But we weren't used to what it was like to put on a ride, to keep people safe. So we've progressed through time. And now our rides are generally about 200 people a ride once a month.
Yeah. So once a month.
Yeah.
And from April, May through September?
Basically, beginning of May, end of April. And we go all the way through. Our final ride is just about Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We do the parade route downtown.
Okay. So how do you come up with these themes of where you're going to go?
It's interesting. So we are a Detroit-based riding group. And we believe that people don't really understand, those who don't live in Detroit or not from Detroit, the true beauty of Detroit. So sometimes you ask people, what do you love about Detroit? And they'll tell you, I love the Red Wings. I love the Pistons. I love going downtown. That's great. Those are things in Detroit.
Yeah.
That is not Detroit. Those are
Right.
parts of it. So we're very dedicated to taking people into the neighborhoods, to meeting the people. So every ride starts and stops at a pub or a neutral location where there's a bathroom. And then we stop at a pub midway so we can leave money in the city.
Yep.
And then we finish back we try to be a neutral location or a pub. And each ride is designed to hit a different spot of the city. And purposely, we go down residential streets.
Yep.
I'd say probably 70% of any ride we have is going down streets where people are living side by side, house by house. Kind of surprising to the people, the residents, when they see us.
Yep.
But it's a very positive thing. And when people see it, it inspires hope.
Yep.
And in some parts of our community, that hope might be lacking, and people may not have the ability to bike, either through their own economics or because there's safety concerns.
Yep.
That doesn't define most of the city, but it defines some areas. And part of our message is, you can do this. It's your community. Let us be part of this by showing you we're here together. But yeah, we design different routes every single month. So really, May, June, July, August, September, October. But in the month of September and October, we have what we call Taco Tuesday rides.
Okay.
So every ride is a different area, either it's starting from Abix Pub at Michigan and Livernois. And we just kind of do an impromptu route. And then afterwards, it's in Southwest Detroit. We go to one of the fabulous Mexican taco stands and leave money there, and then support Abix Pub, which is one of the city's oldest pubs.
Yeah. You do that every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, September
Okay.
and October.
Okay. In September and October.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For 2 months every
Yeah.
Tuesday. So 8 times or so.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen things on your rides that I never saw before. What's the, and not only the ride, but what's that, the Christmas train? What's that spot?
Oh, yeah. It's funny. It's big time now, but there was a time and day when people didn't know about that. So that's the Canadian Pacific holiday train.
Yep.
And it comes through every year, mid-November-ish. But at one time, nobody knew about it. We knew about it And so we would have a get-together and a fundraiser down at the Carbon Athletic Club.
That's what it was, Carbon Athletic Club. So I first saw that during one of your bike rides.
Yeah.
And that's out of nowhere. Like all of
Yeah.
a sudden, damn, that's a sweet little spot.
And we're in Delray when we do that. And Delray is a very economic, impoverished community. At one time, it was thriving, but the long-term city plans were for that community to be industrial.
Okay.
Whether people like it or not, that was the plan. That started in the 50s. And it wasn't a plan designed to be devious, but they just decided that would be where the concentration of industry in the city would be. So the largest single-site sewage plant in the United States is actually in Delray. So that, coupled with other things, really didn't make it, I think, the most healthiest communities to live in. Now that they're building the new bridge, it's a very small but resilient community there.
Okay.
And they're doing what they can for people to continue to live there. But the city has a program. If you want to get a buyout, you can do that. I think they've offered anybody who wants to leave, it's either $80,000 or $100,000 into a home repair into another house in the city. So people have basically left that area. But at one time, it was a pretty thriving Hungarian and then kind of very diverse community.
So what's that Carbon Athletic Club? I mean, it seems like it's still doing well. They've
they
got
hang
members
on.
and yeah.
Just about the last watering hole in
Okay.
Southwest Detroit. Fancy people would go to the Detroit Athletic Club.
Okay.
The Carbon's a little less
I got it.
fancy.
All right.
PBR, if
Okay.
you like to drink, is
Oh,
what
yeah.
they serve. And pretty easygoing. And you can see some really cutting edge bands and things like that. And they have a fierce love of the community. Anybody's welcome to go there. Anybody's welcome to join. I think membership's $30 a year.
Okay.
And it's fun.
Yeah. It's a very cool spot. And it's unassuming from the outside. Like you might not actually know what you're walking into.
Yeah, so it was founded, as I recall it, by veterans of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be some kind of like local corner store. They turned it into a pub. And, people came back from the war and they needed someplace to go.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of cool story. Still hanging on.
Yeah. So we were talking to Todd Scott just the other day.
The
Obviously-
godfather of biking.
Yeah, I told him that's what he's known for. He's pretty modest, But one of the things he brought up was that the streets, because you mentioned going through the neighborhoods, the streets in Detroit are very wide, and it was made to be a motor city, and then all the freeways and everything came in. But there's a lot of wide streets in the city of Detroit, a lot wider than in many other places, certainly up here in the suburbs.
Couple things. One, treacherous freeways. They did us no good. Everybody talks about what happened to Black Bottom,
Yeah.
how they ran that through there. And that was also not good. And Black Bottom was because of the color of the dirt. I mean, it was a very rich area. That's where it actually got its name.
Okay.
But it was a historical African-American neighborhood and still is what remains. But Beatrice Street used to run all the way through Southwest Detroit. And 75 through Southwest Detroit goes the length. And I'm talking all the way down from Schaefer and 4th Street all the way down until downtown, where you used to have Verner and Beatrice Street. And hundreds and thousands of homes and businesses were lost. People don't think about that. I understand you got to get produce in, got to get business in. But they actually sold that when they built those freeways as a way to be able to speed people quicker into Detroit. A debacle, one of the worst things that ever happened to our city. And it divided neighborhoods and it divided peoples. I'm not a fan of the freeways. So next time you cut through Mexican Town, close your eyes and think about all the churches and businesses that were there. And the government wasn't exactly paying fair market value back in the day. Debacle. Detroit has more major freeways crisscrossing it than any city in the nation. We're the arsenal of democracy. So, well, we got to be able to get people out. But businesses fled, and it caused lots of other problems.
Is it
Not a fan.
Is it because, like Beatrice Street, for example, so vehicles weren't going through there anymore?
Well, they eliminated, like on Beatrice Street, the entire street, other side streets, and they carved that freeway right through.
Oh, it was Beatrice Street.
It was Beatrice
I
Street.
got it.
And then, for
I see.
instance, everybody knows about Eastern
Right.
Market. Very few people talk about Western Market.
Yeah.
Western Market is
There's
right
something
where
before where the freeway is today.
took it out.
Yeah, I got it.
And these were the things that binded us,
Yeah.
that tied us together. Anybody who knows anything about urban environments, urban living, about building communities will tell you the freeways have been an absolute debacle.
Yep.
Not that they don't serve a purpose, disastrous,
Yeah.
but so be it for that. But you were talking about the roads. And so and Detroit has very wide roads. It was built for a city of 2.5 million people.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons, we don't have that. We're at 650,000.
Yeah.
So and Detroit can be a very great place to ride. And some streets, if you're on 7 Mile, forget it. 7 Mile's hectic. It's very dense, hard to get through. Not a great street to bike on. And if you're on 8 Mile, save your life.
Okay.
But other streets, cross streets, are very easy to do that on.
Yep.
You can get down 6. You can get down 5. Many would say Finkel, but we say 5, right?
Okay.
You can get down Werner. And Detroit's focus on biking is better for the community. You go to cities like Montreal, New York, it's all over the place. We believe the more diverse biking is, the better successful it is, and the better it is for our community. We have a diabetes epidemic in this nation. We need to make sure people have access to biking and healthy living and healthy food. And this is all a component of it.
Yeah.
And Detroit, being a resilient city it is, we're kind of a late comer to this, but I credit our city council.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know our current mayor, Mary Sheffield, is a big supporter of biking. Todd Benson, who's a city council member, also a big supporter of biking. So we're seeing a lot of things. Crazy thing is, it's easier to bike in Detroit than it is in the suburbs. And I don't want to offend anybody from the suburbs, but it can get kind of hostile biking on suburb streets. It's not easy.
Right.
And we see it from the people, the hustle, how people approach things. But when you bike in Detroit, in general, people are very kind, gracious. They honk for you. A lot of times you're in the suburbs, they honk at you. And we have to realize that there's many modes of transportation. And you go to other metropolitan areas, and biking's much more a component, a fabric of the communities. I give kudos to some of our local cities, Berkeley, Ferndale, Pleasant Ridge. They've implemented biking programs. Take a look what happened in Berkeley going down Coolidge. And some of the residents really weren't in favor of it. But since they've implemented biking lanes, the entire business district down Coolidge has revitalized. There's very few openings. There's more people walking. It's easier to park. You want to slow traffic. What's the hustle, right? You're going to ask me at the end of this, what's my wealth or what I think about wealth. Wealth is in slow down a little bit. Don't rush life. Life's going to happen. Enjoy it. Some of that is biking.
Yeah. Biking's bike accessibility, mobility is so important in every city. And one of the things Chad and I were talking about yesterday is that when I take a trip now, because I'm training for an event, there's always, we try to be a healthy, somewhat athletic person as you age. I'm in my 50s, and I'd like to be moving when I'm in my 60s and my 70s and maybe even my 80s. And so when I take a trip somewhere, I'm looking for where am I going to work out in that town that I go to. And if I had a choice between town A and town B in whatever state or whatever country, in town A had more mobility, more bike paths, more running paths, more places that I could get out and get my exercise, I'm going to town A.
If you want to see a great city for biking, get to Montreal one time.
Okay.
Aside from the bagels, they have great bagels there. But everybody bikes. Same thing in New York. People are all over the place. So I know for some, it's foreign, right? Most of us give up biking around the age of 15, 16. We get our learner's permit. We start driving. But it's as easy as riding a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get back on it, you learn it's a great way to talk to people while you're riding. You can talk to others. You get exercise. It's healthy. And it gets you from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of it. And I wasn't lifelong. Like most people, I had one of those heavy Schwinn varsity bikes. I'd do anything to get it back. Had that speckled blue paint. It was beautiful. But I walked away from it. I saw people biking. I'm like, that's kind of dorky. And then, friends start saying, why don't you do this? It's fun.
Yeah.
You get some exercise. And they're right.
Yeah. Yeah. When I take a business trip down to Austin, Texas, I'm down there for a few days. I'm on there. They've got this river trail system, and I am on that thing every single day. And so are hundreds of other people. I don't want to go out of town for work and come back having maybe eaten not healthy and been totally lackadaisical and not moved my body at all.
Here we
I
are.
want to go somewhere. And if people are taking a business trip into Detroit and they have this infrastructure to go get some exercise.
What town are we in right now?
Bloomfield.
Tell me
And
how
you're not
gonna-
wrong, by the way, about the safety aspect of biking in
Tell me how you're
Bloomfield
going to bike
versus-
from Bloomfield to Detroit right now.
Oh, we do it. I could give you. We patchwork through
patchwork,
neighborhoods and get our way there.
Yeah, right.
The closer we get to Ferndale, the more things start to open up. But to get from here to Ferndale, we patch our way through
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
that's what I'm talking about. Why
Yeah.
should we have to patch our way through?
Yeah.
Why not have a dedicated way that people can do this?
Yeah.
I mean, the more you dedicate, the more you can have that. Detroit has one of the top 10 waterfronts in the entire country
Yeah.
for biking. It's absolutely amazing. Kudos to the city of Detroit for doing that. But when we say Detroit, Coleman Young, the mayor, who I grew up on, my mayor, used to say we can't look at Detroit like a donut, like, there's a hole in the middle and there's just, all the way around. We got to look at ourselves as a solid block. We're all Detroiters, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of us. If Detroit's not succeeding, suburbs aren't succeeding. If the suburbs aren't succeeding, Detroit's not succeeding. And part of that means, in support of diversity, in support of coming together, in support of economic development, having things like biking and connecting our communities. Like they talk about the 8 Mile divide. We need less divide and more connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
And biking's one way to do it. Mm-hmm. And there are plenty of people in Detroit who want jobs to be out here, but we don't have an effective bus system, to be honest. Go anywhere. Our mass transportation is really horrible. And until we can get some of that together, biking is a way that people can do some of these things and make things happen. So
Yeah.
I just see it as a way to make us stronger, better, bigger than we are.
Yep. So backing up a tad, we're fraternity brothers, which
We
is
are.
pretty cool. You started the fraternity that changed my life. I'm sure. I was coming from the UP and I needed some different experience, and that Pi Lambda Phi and the brothers in it, they gave me what I needed at the time, I guess.
If you can't tell, I grew up in Detroit, Southwest Detroit, Mexican town. And I have deep roots there right now, serving on the CHAS Community Health Board, sitting on the Michigan Hispanic Development Team. And what we do there is we raise scholarships and help Latinos to be able to advance and get into college and make sure that they can move forward. And I never thought, I'd go to college. My dad didn't get past the 8th grade. My mom didn't get past the 6th. So that was foreign to me. And I never thought I'd join a fraternity.
Or start one, for that matter.
No, and I thought that was, to be honest, something for rich white kids. And, having a Latino background. When you grow up in Southwest Detroit, you take on a lot of cultures, but ethnically, I'm Irish, but I claim my Latino heritage because that's how we grew up. And I never thought I'd do something like that. But when you go away to school, you want to have an open mind and you want to see things differently and learn things. And so we were at Siena, and a lot of the kids go home on the weekends and they didn't stick around. We said, well, we need to do something that has something to keep people here. And we decided we'd start a fraternity. And we started Pi Lambda Phi, and they're a non-sectarian fraternity. It was founded by a Catholic, somebody who was Protestant, and somebody who was Jewish.
Okay.
Because at that time, Catholics and Jewish kids weren't really allowed in fraternities. And their creed starts off that all men are created free and equal.
Right.
I think I can remember. And no society men can...
Damn, if you pull this off.
I can't remember all of it. exists unless they're endowed with the opportunities and privileges of freedom.
Yeah.
That freedom
I think so.
implies a better understanding twixt men.
Yep.
That it's incumbent upon me for my life to do these things. So it's a fraternity that
Damn, I haven't heard that in a long time. I don't know how you pulled that out.
if I thought about it, I could remember more, right?
Okay.
But it's a fraternity that believed that people should be treated with respect and dignity, and that Martin Luther King said, "Judge me by the content of my character, not the color of my skin." You got to get through this. I mean, life's short, right? I work for Henry Ford Hospital, and I see death and dying every day, and I see a lot of living. And it's amazing how we come together in death. We all come together, isn't this horrible? Let's embrace one another. But we separate in life. We got to get past that. We're not talking lions and zebras and elephants. We're talking people. And we're different tones of color, different faith. I happen to believe God so loved humanity that God made us in these very different ways. And you got to get past that, because we're not going to have all of us successful lives if we harbor our own inner hate and whatever it is. You got to embrace love. Love goes a lot farther than hate. But the fraternity embraced that. And to be honest, there was another part of it. It wasn't just all love. We had more than our share of fun,
Yep.
more than our share of parties, and it was good. That's
was very
part of the
good.
experience.
Yep.
You can do good and have fun at the same time. And that fraternity lasted just about until our school sadly closed this year,
Yep.
which is a heartbreak, but things change, times change.
Yep. I saw Bill Murray was there at the graduation. Did you see that?
Yeah, so Siena Heights closed.
That was a good move on their part to bring him in for
Yeah, he's related to a nun
little
there.
finale. That's what I saw.
Siena was over 100 years old, fabulous school. Would take kids like you, James, kids like me, who didn't come with any money. And true story, my mom and dad never went up to see the school. I had neighbors take me up there. I walked down to the cross-country team. I might have been the slowest kid in the entire city of Detroit running for Holy Redeemer High School in Mexican Town. But I wanted to run, and they let me walk on the team. Everybody beat me.
Yeah.
I mean, Fred Smith, the athletic director, said, "I never had a kid work as hard as you." That's all I had, right? But I went up there. They drove me up there. Sister Irene Morentz ran financial aid. First week, she said, "You don't have enough money to be here." I said, "I know. I can't go home. I got nothing." It was in the 80s. We were in a very tough economic time in the city of Detroit. I said, "If you send me home, I got nothing. I'll lose my brother, everything. I got to do this." They found money for me, and
Yep.
I worked through. Dad supposedly signed loan forms, supposedly, and that got me through. Those forms got signed. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And got myself through 4 years of school.
That's awesome.
It was a good school, and Siena really did a great job helping kids who had nothing.
Well, it's a small school, and it was the kind of school that the students could be hugely actively engaged in how the school ran, actually, in the events that took place, the forming of groups and organizations and fraternities. It's the kind of school that you got a lot of real life experience in because it was so small, I suppose. I don't
It's
know.
the Adrian Dominican charisma. Bless them. They're amazing women. They founded churches, or I should say schools and hospitals across the country, dedicated their lives to making a difference. And the goal of Siena was to make their students more purposeful, competent, and ethical.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's the right order or not, but they are amazing. And I think about some of the greats there. Sister Peg Albert, who was the recent president, Sister Sharon Weber, other legacy people, Sister Eileen Rice, Sister Pat Hogan, and they dedicated their lives to making a difference. Unfortunately, their average age is at a point where they won't be able to maintain their influence on the institution because their numbers have dwindled. And rather than have the school perhaps limp along after they're no longer able to provide the love and leadership that they've done for it all these years, they decided that now was the time. Crazy, I read an article in the Wall Street Journal, you may have seen it about a week ago, that predicts up to 450 private schools may end up closing across the country. Locally, we lost Madonna. about 20 years, 25 years ago or so, we lost Nazareth. Notre Dame College in Ohio recently closed. And there's another college right outside of Toledo. I can't think of the name of it. A small Catholic school also closed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sign of the times. Tuition now is $50,000 a year, most of these small schools. And you start looking at your options, right? And that's a lot of money. And so AI is coming on. The whole educational landscape is changing. But love the mission of those Dominican sisters. And you went there as well.
I went there because my mom went there when it was an all-ladies school.
Did she?
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew about it. And I had a sister that was finishing up over there. So I applied
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I applied to the traditional places that people from the UP normally apply, and Siena, and then decided to go to Siena because I didn't have any other Uper friends going to Siena.
Yeah.
And I thought, let me just branch totally out and see what's going on out there in the world.
Can I give you a funny story? And sorry if my voice is a little hoarse from running and biking. We did the 5 Boroughs bike ride in New York a couple weeks ago, and I'm still getting caught up with my voice. But in high school, I had a pretty solid C average. I was about a 2.3, 2.4.
Mm-hmm.
I took the ACT. Back in the day, I think the average was 19. If you were 18 or 19, you were average. And I remember I took the ACT and I scored an 18. And I ran around telling everybody, look, I got an 18. I'm average. I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
I got an 18. And I had friends that scored like 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
You know, we were all friends. I was like, man, I always knew you were dumb.
Yeah.
But I scored an 18.
Yeah.
And they took kids like us,
Yeah.
average kids, and made us into something more.
Well, I got down there talking about grades.
What was your ACT?
I don't remember, but I got down there. I do remember my grade point average was 12 and a half. And
What is 12 and a half?
I know. And I was in the hallway when I was a freshman in the hallway, first like month of school, and people are talking about somebody getting a 4 point, and they were like super impressed about that. And I'm thinking, God, I went down to the school of idiots. They're like super happy and impressed to get a 4 point. I graduated college or high school with a 12.5.
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed for him. Like I didn't even want to, you know what I mean? Like I didn't tell him what I got. I didn't tell him I'm a 12.5.
And then you learned.
I didn't want to embarrass the hell out of him. And then I got my first report card, and I'm like a solid 2.5. And then I realized we're at the 16-point grade system scale in Manistee, where I went to high school.
Yeah.
Nobody had ever heard of 16-point system. So I had a solid B, I guess, in high school. But I thought, holy crap, these guys, I went to the school of a bunch of idiots.
That's
I'm going
good.
to crush them all.
I think what it demonstrates, we talk about this, about opportunities and making the most of what you have. You know, anybody's going to say this at some level, I guess, but I would have been voted less likely to succeed. And I don't know that success is necessarily measured in the money you make or your career. I think it gets measured ultimately in what you're able to do to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And Siena was able to take me and make me an instrument of God's peace, God's work. And I'm Catholic, so in a Catholic way, we believe that faith without good works doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to the Jewish faith, which the Jewish people believe that it's incumbent upon them to heal the world.
Mm-hmm. And
Catholics have that in common, I think, with our Jewish brothers and sisters, that we should heal and make a difference, right? And same thing with our Islamic brothers and sisters or our Hindu brothers and sisters, right? Faith in and of itself, if you believe in a God, should be connected to good works and good deeds. And that's important to us. And Siena was good at helping people to become that.
Yep, I think so too. Yeah, I got usually voted most improved player. So I think kind of like you and your track thing, I just worked hard. It started kind of simple, but I always worked at what was in front of me.
I was a horrible runner.
Yeah.
But look, I'm running to Mexican town, right?
Yeah.
Parents didn't have money for shoes. You ran in what you had. We didn't have anything.
Yeah.
It was all hand-me-downs, right?
Yep.
So we just did the best we could, but we never complained.
Yep.
I guess we never knew how little we had or how poor we were for any of us till we got out of high school. Then we're
Yeah.
like, oh man, we don't have a lot. But when you're living in a neighborhood where people have relatively the same things, you
Yeah.
know.
So you talk a lot about diversity, and I notice on your bike rides, everybody's there.
Yeah.
Everybody's there.
All ages, all backgrounds.
And talkative, sharing, and the way it flows, because you got a couple hundred people, and basically you're going around 20 miles, and you're traveling around 10 miles an hour. Is it 10?
10.
Yeah. And so it's this constant flow.
Yeah.
Then throughout the day, I'm with different people the whole day long, and you get to know all these different people and their backgrounds and what they're doing. It's a neat group.
Do you know what Martin Luther King said? He said the most segregated day of the week is Sunday.
Okay.
People going to different churches, they're not
Yep.
interacting. And so we believe that the way you break down barriers is by breaking bread,
Yep.
by understanding, by socializing. So everybody's welcome, but you got to keep pace. Our ride is a drop ride. If you don't stay at pace, we're going to leave you behind. Now that frightens some people, but 10 miles an hour is not a difficult pace to keep.
It's not.
And if somebody was in real trouble, we would stop, we'd help them. But sometimes, for instance, we love slow roll. But slow roll has stepped up its game as well in regards to pace. Slow roll used to be whatever pace you wanted to, right? Jason Hall is a leader of slow roll, fabulous biking leader in the community. But they picked up their pace and they
Yep.
got more rules to it because slow roll existed, then it went away,
Yep.
and he brought it back. And so we do 10 miles an hour pace, and we tell people, you've got to come with a bike in repair.
Yep.
You can't come and think, hey, we're just going to take care of your ball tires and everything else, and we'll help you in advance get those things together. But yeah, it's 10 miles an hour, and you talk and you laugh. We stop 10 miles in.
Yep.
So if you're struggling, take a break.
Yep. You know what I like about the 10 miles an hour too, though, is everybody has a responsibility to keep the entire group together.
Yeah.
And you take some ownership in that as the bikers. You can hear the bikers within this biking mob. Hey, pick it up, let's catch up, you know, and they're cheering everybody on to regroup, get back together again. And so I don't know, it works. And I think it works to the benefit.
We talked about, you said earlier, how we run our rides. So I have a crew.
Mm-hmm.
And the crew wears these very bright pink shirts so you can see them.
Yep.
And so the crew is the one who will get you to stop at the lights, get us through the lights, make sure everybody's together. So we practice our rides 7-8 times on a course before you ride on it. And they will give some help if your bike breaks down. But we're also, like with anything in life, we're asking our riders to have their own personal responsibility.
Yep.
You don't have to know how to change a flat. We'd like that. We'll help you. But you need to bring your own tools and things like that so you're self-reliant.
Yep. So I didn't realize that this bike ride that you do wouldn't have maybe started without Aaron.
Yeah.
The bike ride in the UP that I do would not have started without Aaron. Did you know that?
My brother, Aaron, is probably the most moral, ethical, kind person I know. He's just a really good guy. And I didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me.
So let me tell you how this started. So he calls me one day and says, hey, can you take me on a bike ride around the UP? I'd really love to do that someday. I know you guys love the UP. We'd see you up at
God's country.
Oh yeah, we'd see you up at Munising. Sometimes you spend the night at Newberry and you get the pancake breakfast. And anyways,
Yeah, in
we'd
the
see you at
log
Munising.
cabin. Love that place.
We'd see you at Munising annually. Just randomly too, by the way. Like this isn't something that, hey, I reached out to you, you reached out to me. It was one of the Pictured Rock road races up there in Munising, and damn, there's Pat.
Pictured Rocks.
Yeah. But anyway, so he loved the UP. You love the UP.
Stink Hill that you run up.
Stink
What a
Hill.
tough hill.
Oh yeah. And he said, hey, will you take me around the UP on a bike? I'd like to check that out someday. I'm like, Aaron, you realize the UP is really freaking long, man. It's a big chunk of land. He goes, what do you take? Like 3 or 4 days to go around it? I'm like, no, it'd take a lot longer than that. So like a month goes by. Hey, I really would love you to take me on a bike ride around the UP. You know, can you figure out a route for that? I'm like, Aaron, it's really long, man. Like, it's not just a 3-day ride. He goes, are you sure? Like, it seems like we could do it. I'm like, all right. So another month goes by. He's persistent. He asked me like 3 or 4 times. And then finally, I'm like, you know what? I'll just throw this little mock route together to show him how long this thing would be. So I put together some routes around the UP on Google Earth probably and mapped it out. And it was about 1,200 miles. And then I showed it to Aaron. He's like, oh, shit, I'm not doing that. But then after I did it, I'm like, damn, that's actually pretty freaking cool. And I might want to try that out. But if he hadn't been bugging me about that, I never even would have looked at it. But then after I put the shell of the route together, it got in my head. And the more I thought about it, like, yeah, that's something I want to do.
There's greatness and great ideas all around us.
Yeah.
It's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we could do double the listening.
Yep.
Listen, and you'll find greatness all around you.
So eventually, the reason I started it was to raise awareness for the safe biking in the UP. And there's hardly any accidents up there. There's about 20 a year compared to 1,200 a year downstate. And it's not that there aren't cars, because millions of people go to the UP to go visit it. You know that. You see them up there. But they all drive on the same roads.
Right.
And what I wanted to show people is the roads that nobody drives on. And so that there's a phenomenal biking paradise up there where you could spend 100 miles on a bike and maybe see 3 or 4 cars and no bikes either. Nothing of anything.
Ride like 100 miles and never take a turn, like on the scenic stretch.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll stay off of that on a bike. But, they did a marathon on the scenic stretch one time. Because that's 23 miles. So they started.
I couldn't take it.
They started in Shingleton and they ended in Seney. It was a one-way marathon. It was just 1 year they did it. One-way marathon on the edge of the road on the scenic stretch.
For those who don't know, the scenic stretch is the single longest stretch of roadway in the United States without a bend or a turn.
Yeah.
It goes on forever.
Yeah. You don't need that, what's it called, the self-driving? What's that called?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. Can't think of the name of it right now.
Yeah, the auto driving.
Auto driving. You can just tie a rope to your steering wheel and set cruise control.
Yeah.
And then set your alarm for, however long it takes to go 23 miles.
It
doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. It doesn't turn. And it's dead 180 degrees. Like I've even set my compass on it just to see if it changes at all. Is dead 180 degrees.
I was going to tell you, speaking of UP, there's 2 bike rides coming up. The first is this upcoming weekend, the annual Zootomac bike ride, which is in Boyne, Michigan, and you ride from Boyne to Mackinac. We always drop our bikes off in Mackinac, or drop the car off in Mackinac, then we ride back. So that way, when we finish our cars there, but we'll be going over the Mighty Mac and going to was it C's Culver's? What is it? No, the big C burger.
Oh yeah, Clyde's.
Clyde's. They have the best burgers in the UP. So if you go there, do that. But a fun ride. It's about 50 miles total. The other ride though is that I was sharing with you earlier. 2 weeks ago, we went to New York, the 5-borough bike ride.
Yep.
You bike through all 5 boroughs in New York. The mayor of New York actually led the ride this year. 32,000 people. What a blast. If you ever want to do something really fun, go do this ride. You go to New York, rent a bike. You don't have to bring a bike, and take in a play. It's really a cool thing to do.
Okay. And 35,000 people, you said, around that one?
Yeah, and they go through, I think there's 4 waves of 8,000, but, they probably have a few more in there.
Yeah.
32,000 to 35.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, because this is Bike Month and we're focused on bike safety. So how do you guys keep the whole event organized? I know you got your runners, you got your bikers with the bright shirts, and what are you guys training and doing pre-ride when you're scoping it out?
You just have to make sure you're on streets that aren't overly rough, that haven't been maintained. You're looking for hazards. And just ease of where do you hit the lights at. You could be one street off from the light. You want to make sure you're hitting your street lights where you can. And you really focus on how you can make the rides as safe as possible. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole gig of it. Mm-hmm. And you got to have a break somewhere about 10 miles in so people can use the bathroom. That's the hard part. Finding a place that has bathroom facilities, a restaurant bar in advance, finding a halfway stop, then being able to come back. And as Detroit has depopulated, and there's less and less places that you can go to for that midway stop. A lot of them are centered in downtown.
Especially you're suddenly showing up with 200 people.
So you got to get that set up in advance, right? And there's another truth out there. The younger generation, like your good teammate here, Ryan, who's in the background, won't get to see him on camera, his generation isn't going to bars anymore.
You're not going to bars?
I know that's that line. We're still out there.
Okay.
They're there, but they're just as comfortable drinking at home with friends, playing a few video games, chilling out, right, Ryan?
True.
Don't get to see him, but this is true. Do you know that, and I'm going to give like some sketch stats, but they're fairly true. This is true. Marijuana is double the amount of sales now in this state than alcohol and liquor. I think last year, and again, this is rough, I think it was $1.1 billion in sales of marijuana. It was about 512, give or take, sales of alcohol and liquor. The state makes a ton of money
Out of, including bars, the sale of liquor,
Yeah.
or including stores?
That's total sales.
I had no idea.
Now again, you're talking to the 18 ACT guy who had a 2 point something in high school, 3.5 in college. I got that cum laude designation, but I read it, and while we're talking, Ryan, you're the stats man, right? Can you look that up while we're doing that?
I'm getting on it. I'll see.
See, this is really good. We can get it. But marijuana is blowing alcohol sales out of the water for state revenue and sales. People aren't drinking. I don't smoke marijuana, not interested in it. But a lot of my friends do, right? That's okay for them. The downside of marijuana, and other people may have thoughts on it, but you start to eat a lot of fast food and things like that. Alcohol gives you a hangover. People aren't drinking like they once did. And so finding places where we can stop on our rides is hard because they may open at night. But you think about it. When I was growing up in Southwest Detroit, and I'd walk from my house to my grade school, Detroit St. Gabriel's, I would pass 3 bars open in the morning. People coming off the
they come off
factory
to shift work.
and drinking.
Yeah.
There's no bars open in the morning anymore.
right.
It doesn't exist. They don't even open in the afternoon. Abix Bar, which for anybody who watches this off of Michigan, Livernois, is an amazing, cool place. They don't get the crowds they once did. People aren't drinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty big shift. And Ryan's got a data point.
All right, I've got some stats. So by billions of dollars, alcohol is still above. It looks like marijuana is 3.17 billion.
And this is in Michigan?
Yep, this is in Michigan. Alcohol is 7 billion.
Hmm.
But by volume / like servings, it's about. I'm not getting an exact number, but it's looking like it's pretty close. It says retailers sold more products, more marijuana products, over 7.4 million pounds.
And I thought I read something about the revenue for the states getting is higher on marijuana.
Oh, the revenue the state's getting.
Yeah.
That could be.
Let's see, yeah.
Yeah, that could be. They might tax marijuana more than they do alcohol.
Yeah, it could be. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
people aren't, and if you, Ryan, you look at some of those stats while we're talking, the alcohol consumption, Gemini AI is going to be good for that.
Yeah.
What's the revenue consumption, or what's the consumption of alcohol over the last 5 years in the state of Michigan?
Yeah.
Trajectory of it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a marijuana fan. I don't smoke. It just seems like whenever I go down the freeway, I can smell everybody else
smoking.
smoking.
What time? Your rides start around 9 in the morning, so
10 a.m.
you're getting to a bar around noon or 1? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Back in the shift work days, they were always open.
Always open.
Yeah.
And they always had that bar smell, that
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially back in the
that
smoking.
old time
time.
bar smell. Like,
I'm glad the smoking's gone.
yeah, I am too. Smelled beer.
Yeah.
For anybody out there who smokes, I just hate that, man.
Yeah.
It's a disgusting habit. Not the people who do it are disgusting, but
Yeah.
I hate smoke.
I'd like to ask you about something that happened to you after one of your rides, because I think it's a good thing to talk about in awareness and
I had a heart attack.
yeah. So the weird thing is, I saw you at the Munising run earlier that year,
Yeah.
and you were tired. You got done with the run and you were tired, and you didn't have as much color in your face as you normally did. And I remember I called Aaron a couple times that day, like, "How's Pat doing? How's Pat doing?"
Thank you.
And that was I don't know what month that would have been, but that was before this particular ride, but not that much before it. And then I joined you for this ride. We started in
Hamtramck at the Polania restaurant.
Yep. Started there, had a beautiful day, ended there. I said goodbye to you. You got your hands full at these things, man. You got a lot of people. You're running a big show. I said goodbye and I left. And then, come to find out, minutes after that, they were rushing you to the hospital.
Widowmaker. So, and I ran my whole life just about. But genetics are something else. And having grown up in Mexican town in southwest Detroit, fair exposure to pollution, that didn't help any. But on a really good ride, and our midway stop on that ride was the Stone House. And for those of you who haven't been to the Stone House, it's near 7 in Woodward, and it's been closed for several years. If anybody wants to buy a cool place, somebody buy that place and reopen it. It's an old house that Al Capone was alleged to have frequented, but it's been closed for a couple of years now. And actually, earlier that week, I had the first heart attack. I couldn't finish my ride. I just thought I was out of breath. And I asked my physician, Dr. Sean Drake, who apologized profusely. He'd never seen anything like this before. He said, well, excuse my language, dumbass, you're not like some 20-year-old kid. You go out and run 8 miles, and then you bike 20 miles, and it's 85 degrees outside. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Watch yourself. Well, then that was like on a Tuesday. And Saturday, it hit. And I was riding, and I got back, and I was standing on like you know how the light poles have those cement bases to them?
Yeah.
I climbed up on the light pole. I had my megaphone, and I was yelling at everybody. And I got down, and all of a sudden, I was having a hard time breathing. And I told my brother, I said, I can't breathe. Get me inside. I don't know what it is. And somebody had an inhaler. I said, well, give me the inhaler. Maybe it's hot. I went upstairs, and I said, give me some water. Give me some pop. I was filling myself with fluids. And we walked down these long stairs from the upstairs of the Polania, a Polish restaurant. And I couldn't breathe. And I got outside, and I laid down. It was a beautiful day. I could see the sky. And I said, Aaron, we got to get out of here, man. I'm not right. I thought, well, this is the last thing I saw. So Aaron got the Jeep and hustled me in, and people were concerned. And they took me down to Henry Ford Hospital. And we called the ER. And I was actually sitting outside the ER. And I called the director of the ER, Joyce Farrar, and I said, I'm out here. I don't think I need to come in. And I was arguing. She said, in summary, get your ass in here. I went in. They put me on the monitor. And I'll never forget the nurse who let out a swear word. He said, this is amazing. We never get to see this. You're having a heart attack.
Wow.
Right now. We never get to see it in play.
Usually somebody has a heart attack and then goes in. Yeah.
I was having it. They were watching the heart attack.
Wow.
Like they're watching the Super Bowl. I said, well, that's great. What do we do now? And John was a nurse, Jeff Hanlon, good guy. And he said, well, we got to get you to the resuscitation room. So I stood up. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I got to get to the resuscitation room. He's like, you dumbass.
Yeah.
They know me because I worked there. And they wheeled me in, and they're monitoring everything. And my brother was there. It was pretty hectic. And they took me into these side elevators. I've been up 1,000,000 times for patients. They got me up to the cardiac cath lab to try to get a stent into me. When you have the Widowmaker, you only got 1% artery open. So most people don't survive it. A funny story, because I work for Henry Ford, the card to go through the door wouldn't get me into the cardiac cath lab. So it kept beep, beep. So I yelled out a swear word. I'm like, can you blankety blank get me in? I'm having a heart attack. They took me around another way. And that was a process improvement, right? They didn't have access to that door.
Okay.
Usually somebody from inside had to let you in. But they got me in, and John Bem was the nurse on duty, my lifelong friend now. People were pretty scared because I'm a senior leader at Henry Ford, and he told everybody to calm down and not so pleasant words. And he knew me. He said, look, I got to tell you, Pat, you're a healthcare professional. I know you'll want to know this. This one's going to be close.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we can. And some people said, oh my God, I mean, he actually told you that? I thank God he told me that to this day. I told him, tell my brother I love him. It'll be okay. We'll get through that. And I was not scared to die. I just wasn't. I was very calm. I'm like, wow, this is how it ends.
Yeah.
I still can't explain it, but you're just like, it just ends now. What scared the living hell out of me was that my system was filled with water and I couldn't breathe, and the sensation of drowning.
Okay. Because your heart wasn't pumping the fluid.
It was the most terrifying thing I've ever went through in my life.
Did your lungs have fluid in it?
Oh, my lungs had fluid in, but I couldn't breathe. And so you're laying there,
Yeah.
and it was absolutely terrifying, and I was screaming. And so they knocked me out and gave me a diuretic, and regrettably, I emptied my kidneys on everybody in the room, and I was filled with water. I woke up with 4 stents, and I'm here like 8-9 years later. You're not guaranteed anything in life, and they saved my life. So not only do I work for Henry Ford, but I'm here to tell you they are amazing caregivers.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprising how death isn't scary.
Yeah.
The process of dying is.
Yeah. I got to ride with your surgeon on one of your bike rides not too far after that. Randomly, I think we just kind of ended up next to each other, and I had a great time.
I have Dr. Kandawal and Dr. Al-Assad. Dr. Kandawal left for a chairmanship of another program. I think he went to somewhere in Massachusetts. Great guy. Dr. Al-Assad is my caregiver, and Dr. Al-Assad is an amazing physician, humanitarian. He's been deeply involved in the plight of the Syrian people. He was a marked man when he's outside of Syria before the Assad regime fell. That's guys giving more back to humanity than anybody I know. So I'd say in Arabic to him, Hamdallah, Hamdallah. He's a good man. But yeah, we have some really awesome physicians. Something people don't know about Henry Ford Hospital. And I think we have great healthcare facilities throughout this region. Henry Ford Hospital downtown has the Henry Ford Medical Group. That means if you're an independent practitioner downtown, you can't admit to the hospital. You have to be part of a medical group to get in. Now, we have great community care physicians in all of our hospital. But downtown, they're employees like me. I mentioned Dr. Al-Assad. And we really think that makes a tremendous difference in a large academic health center like that you're part of one cohesive team. The housekeeper, the nurse, the physical therapist, the HR guy, the Dr. Al-Assads of the world, or, all the other great people that we have. So it's a pretty amazing place. I don't know if you know this, but we're building a brand new hospital downtown. The entire project, we're calling it Destination Grand, is going to be just about $3 billion. The hospital is, I think 16 or 17 floors. It's taller than the Fisher Building. It will be the nation's top state-of-the-art hospital. And it is true, no great city in this country, not one, exists without having an academic medical center. And that's what we've positioned ourselves to be. We're going to keep our prior campus, designed by Albert Kahn, a beautiful building, but we'll turn that into outpatient and offices and things like that, and there'll be significant renovations. But wait till you see this new hospital. And the top 2 floors are going to be the Shirley Ryan Mobility Lab. Shirley Ryan is the nation's top, and I mean top, health provider for spinal cord injury, neurological challenges, etc. Dan Gilbert had his son utilize Shirley Ryan in Chicago, and Dan Gilbert's generosity is off the charts. I wanted to see that here and partnered with Henry Ford. I think Henry Ford right now is the best hospital in the nation. Wait till you see this get built.
When does it start?
I think we're 2 years off.
Wow.
And it'll be led by our president, Dr. Steve Kalkanis, who is a nation's top neurosurgeon. I mean, we're led by doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And our current facility, led by Ronnie Hall, who's a nurse. So it's just a unique place.
Yeah.
I love it there. It's a
Yeah.
great place for care.
Yeah, I know. After your heart attack, it was crazy to see how well you were taken care of, and you got to
Yeah.
experience that as working there for so long, and you got to experience exactly what you hope would happen for any of your patients that come in.
And you know, we have great other healthcare facilities in the area. Trinity, Corewell come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
And there's others out there. So this really is a high quality market for healthcare.
Yeah.
The University of Michigan healthcare system. So,
Yeah.
and there's others.
Do you think your athleticism, all your running, all your biking, how did that affect the heart attack? Do you think it made a difference in your recovery? Any difference in your recognizing
I
of
would have been
it?
dead if I wasn't
Oh,
in
really?
athletic shape. I wouldn't have made it.
What would have happened?
No, I'd have been dead. I mean, most people don't survive the Widowmaker.
Okay.
It was running that kept me through, without question.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that.
And then almost immediately you were healthier.
Yeah, I was running.
Your heart could work again.
I think I was running within 2 months.
Yeah.
I run all the time, bike all the time. Look, growing up, I was a big fan of Jim Morrison and the Doors. I still am, just not as big. And, you know, a famous quote attributed to him was, "No one here gets out alive." Put your money to good use. Put your life to good use. You're not getting out of this.
Mm-hmm.
The most famous and wealthiest people of our day now, one day will be gone. We're not granted immortality. We're mortal. So you should make it count. You don't know. You think you know when it's going to come. You don't. So live life to your fullest. Don't have any regrets. And, you know, during the 80s, there used to be a sticker. He or she who dies with the most toys wins.
I remember that thing.
I hate that.
I know. I hate it too. But that was prevalent back then.
For losers.
Yeah. I mean, just a saying. I remember seeing it. How would I see that in the UP and you saw that in the middle of Detroit in the 80s?
I don't know.
We both
Miami
saw it.
Vice, Don Johnson.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. He, she who lives a most fulfilling life and improves the human condition wins. This world is small. The universe is, I mean, unending. Ryan, give me a stat. How many planets and universes are there? Planets, universes, and worlds are there? Suns. I thought I read someplace. Ryan's gonna laugh. I keep quoting all these stats. They're not accurate. I thought I read there's like 100 billion stars out there, and maybe like 1 trillion planets or something. We're about one. Go ahead, Ryan. What's the data?
All right. Well, it's kind of funny. I can't give you an exact number. In the known universe, there's an estimated 10 to the 22nd to 10 to the 24th powers stars or suns. So
That's what, 1 trillion or something? I don't know.
the literal word I'm getting is over a septillion.
Septillion stars.
I've never heard that before, but that is what I'm getting from Gemini.
This is
A 1 followed by 24 zeros.
this is called Stump James's team. And does this tell you how many planets they guess there are? Because those stars often have planets around them.
Yeah.
You will never get to them. It's an improbability. And here we are on Earth, the only thing in our small little solar system. If that doesn't help make you believe that there's a higher being or something, I can't convince you.
Yeah.
There's a rhythm to the world. There's a gentle light at night, the moon, a bigger light during the day. The tides go in, the tides go out. There are things that can live in water. There are things that can live in the air. There are things that can live under the ground. It's, well, evolution. Where to start? Big Bang Theory. Well, who lit the match for the bang?
Yeah.
There are things that are simply not answerable. And so with that, let's believe there's some higher power. You say Jehovah or God or, Allah or, if you're of the Hindu faith, there's many gods. I don't I don't know. I know the truths that I know. It's not for me to be dour on your truth. But let's recognize that something is out there. And because there's an order to the world, we should assume that that order at some level expects goodness and kindness to however we were made. And I think if you have that philosophy, and if you're kind and good to others, then you become kind and good. So if you don't even believe it, be kind and good to others because it makes you better. It makes you happier. That's true wealth.
You know, interesting thing about, like, we started talking about biking today, and when I experience your bike rides, the biking is fun, the activity of biking itself, but what I get the most out of the ride is the interaction that I have with people during the ride. When people come all the way up to the UP and they bike the 1,200 miles, 10-day stage around Tour de Up, sure, the scenery's nice. We got some pictures up there. It's a beautiful place. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, jump in a Great Lake after a bike ride, cool your muscles down.
Yeah.
But it's the engagement with all the people that are biking with you, the people in the community. You know what it's like when you go up to the UP and the people you meet in the town of Chinary or the town of Munising or the town of Newberry or Manistee, my hometown. But it's the engagement with people that we remember most. Biking is just this, I don't know, this medium or this tool that we're using to gather people together and then have these human experiences with others.
Who wants to be surrounded by people who are angry and ugly and argumentative? It's not time for it.
No.
Gandhi said it, be the change you wish to see take place in the world. I think that's true.
Yeah. Pat, is there anything else I didn't ask you want to talk about? I got one more question for you, but anything else you have?
No, I think we've covered a lot of things. We're all passing through in time, and I've shared that, right? Time is like a grindstone. It either wears you down or it polishes you up. Anybody who hears this podcast, the pain you've experienced, the bad things you've had happen to you in life, I got it. We've all had it. We all had trauma in our childhood. We all got spanked by mom, dad, or neighbor, a teacher who didn't believe in us. I remember I'll give a good story if I can. Sister Edith, my grade school principal. I was not a good student for a variety of reasons. Some of my control, some not. A lot of things were going on. But I still remember, and I can't tell you if it's the 7th or the 8th grade, I still remember her telling me I'd never amount to anything in life.
That you would never amount.
Yeah, I'd never amount to anything in life. Now, maybe she did that to get my attention, whatever, right? I don't know what's going on with her. Whether I have or haven't remains to be seen. But I found her before she passed. She was an Adrian Dominican sister. And, you know, that was during the time of Vatican II. A lot of people were hurting. The school wasn't doing well financially. And I found her. And before she passed, I told her how much I appreciated her sacrifice. She did not remember me. She kind of remembered the families that had the kids with all the A's.
Okay.
But I was even a C student there. And I was in school sloppy. You know, at that time, they used to have tracks, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I was so proud of being track 4. Track 4, it's a long discredited educational methodology. Track 4 was the dummy track, where the kids were, you just went and worked in factories or McDonald's or whatever, right? Not that those are dummy jobs, but that's what they just put you on. They didn't have no hope for you. Track 1 was for the really smart kids. I still remember the kids in track 1 were reading about Greek history and things that were happening. And I'm like, I'd like to do that, but I wasn't there. So she told me that, and I found her. And I said, you know, Sister Edith, I just want to thank you for all you did and all you sacrificed and how much you motivated me to become something in life. And she was very gracious in that. Why do I share that? Not because you're like, oh, Pat, you're such a good guy. No, I got more than my share of faults. Be magnanimous in victory. Be magnanimous in defeat. The trick of this world isn't that God doesn't talk to us. It's understanding God's message. I could have taken that and recognized that, Maybe she thought she'd get me motivated. She did. Success is just failure turned inside out. It's a fall, a stumble, not like a permanent get down. Get up, stand up. Infirm can sit down. Stand up. Or what's that song by Hall & Oates when they sing Out of Touch? Dance on your knees.
Yeah.
You got to get up. And so forgive. And I would tell people, be magnanimous, defeat or winning, but forgive. And the hardest thing about forgiving in this life, if you think about it, is to forgive yourself. You've all done some things. I've done some things. You're like, oh, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
Or if I could only go back. You can't. Regret cheapens your past. It robs you of your future. As hard as it is, look in the mirror, forgive yourself, and then start forgiving others. You don't know what people are going through, and I'll use a swear, maybe they were an absolute shit. But you know what? That's on them. Don't let people rent space in your head. Let it go. Because if you can't forgive, then you're going to be carrying that around all your life. And if life's a grindstone, it wears you down or polishes you up, you're getting worn down. That's what I think.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. And you've changed a lot of lives. And my life wouldn't be what it is today if you hadn't started that fraternity at Siena Heights.
ACT of 18, man.
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
My buddy Mike Kowalski's passed now. He got a 9. And we were best friends ever
Yeah.
since kindergarten.
Yeah.
I remember telling Mike, man, you really are stupid.
Yeah.
And he laughed. He was like, well, we'd laugh at each other.
Yeah.
And he wasn't stupid. But isn't that funny? I was
Yeah.
celebrating 18.
Yeah. I don't know if I could ever look up, see what I got. I have no idea.
My best friend, Ed Cano, he scored like a 23. He said, yeah, you're about an average guy.
Yeah. So the name of this podcast is
Wealth is a choice. Boom.
And wealth means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Sometimes it's just perspective where you're at in life at this time. But wealth can mean money, can mean family, can mean love, relationships, athleticism, health. Whatever wealth is to you at this moment, do you think that wealth is a choice?
Yes and no. First, the Bible says, and I'm not good at quoting, but I'll get pretty close. What does it do a man who gaineth the world but loses his soul? Abba, the winner takes it all.
Yeah.
So you get everything. You still die. You still get a crypt, or you get, incinerated. So financially, you should be working on being a better person, because all the comfort steaks and shrimp and lobster you eat aren't going to do you any good if there's an afterlife. And some people say, well, I don't believe there's a God. Okay, that's cool. Live your life as you want, but you're placing a bet. And maybe you're right, but we're still living the same lives.
Yeah.
At some point, enough money's enough money. Why don't you bet that there might be something else, just in case?
Yeah.
But some people don't have choices. Wealth is defined in a lot of ways, but financially, my dad, the mill went out of business. He had no insurance. He had no money. I detest, if anybody believes this whole thing about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that's a lie. I run into people all day long who don't have bootstraps. If you're born into an impoverished situation, to a single mom, maybe she got a drug problem, maybe she doesn't, maybe she has an alcohol problem, or maybe she's just struggling, and you're trying to make it, and maybe your schools are inferior. You have to have line of sight or awareness. I would challenge everybody to get involved. If anybody who listens to this podcast isn't volunteering, shame on you. Somewhere, somehow, volunteer. You have an obligation to give back in this life, because not everybody has self-awareness. I love telling stories. I sat on the Redeemer School Board for a number of years. We came out of a board meeting. Father Halter, who's long gone, came out. We were talking on a nighttime, and there was some guy who was hustling him up for money. And Father Halter went into the Holy Redeemer Rectory to get him some money. And I told Father Halter, Father Halter, don't give that guy money. I know him. He's a bum on the street, man. He's just going to go buy alcohol. I've seen him before. He said something I never forgot. And I want whoever sees this video to remember. He said, what I do with my money is my gift to God. What he does with my money is his gift back. Wow. Powerful. What you do with your money, what you do with your time, what you do with your talent is just your gift to God. However you define God, and if you don't define God, then to the world at large, what they do with it is their gift back. You can only be responsible for you.
Right.
So be your best responsible self.
Right.
Last time I checked, there was no rewind on life, only fast forward. And it's getting faster every day.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned some people might not have self-awareness. Can you describe that more?
Self-awareness is a gift. Think about it. Every so often, it's a rarity. I have some glimpses of self-awareness right now while I'm talking to you. It was a tough day at work, right? About people, and I'm like, man, I was kind of snapping at some people earlier. I wasn't at my best. So I'm getting some self-awareness as I'm talking, right? We see ourselves from an ego state. The world revolves around us. We do these things. We're so damn important, blah, blah, blah. We're like ants in the universe. Ryan, how many of those suns again?
Oh God, it was 10 to the 22nd power.
I wish you could see Ryan here. If I had a camera, I'd flip it to you. Ryan's our data, smartest of his generation. He's the data guy behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're very small in this universe, but yet we think the whole world revolves around us. At some level, as it should, because we're self-conscious. Self-awareness, though, breaks that down, and when you become self-aware, you become aware of everything else aware of you. You're like, whoa. You get into a heart attack. Your life resets. You almost lose your life. You have a religious experience where you believe you've seen God, a messenger of God. You become self-aware. Something happens at work where the pieces fit together. You're like, wow. Self-awareness is an event in any given day where you're like, I'm not as big as I thought I was, and I can probably do more than I currently am. Always strive to be more than you are. That is your gift to the world and to God. You've heard me talk about faith a lot. You don't have to believe in God or gods, but believe in a goodness that you can and should be more. And then do that to others. Don't be kind to others because you want to be nice to others. Be kind because if you're kind to others, you become a kinder person.
Mm-hmm.
You have to practice being kind. It's not easy. I got another thing too. Don't be nice, be kind. Nice is weak. You find a lot of people, they're nice. Are you really nice or is that fake? Niceness is a subset of kindness. Lead with kindness, not niceness. Because sometimes kindness makes you have to take a tough stance. Sometimes kindness says, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you shouldn't do that. You know, be kind. Nice emanates from kindness. Kindness doesn't emanate from niceness.
Do you think your perspective changed or your self-awareness changed after your heart attack?
Well, yeah. You know, when you're on the table and the guy tells you it's going to be close, I'm not sure this is going to come out.
I mean, you were doing so many amazing things prior and post. Did you do something different post heart attack, or just more intention?
No, just glad for more time. When you say so many amazing things, that's kind. I'm an average guy with a lot of faults. I am. You know who did amazing things? My dad. He was taken away as a ward of the court during the Depression because they didn't eat. They were starving. There's a fire station in Corktown, just down the street from Holy Trinity. It's a law office now. I think it's abandoned. There's a side window. He remembers a little boy getting handouts from food there from the fire department because they starved. He went to World War II. Ship got hit. He was clinging to the side, almost got thrown overboard, got injured, got put in a VA hospital. At that time of the world, when you came back and you were shell-shocked, they didn't know how to deal with it. You know what they do? They throw you in tubs of cold water. They beat the hell out of you in the VA hospital, try to get you back to your senses. He wasn't treated real well. Came back, worked for McLeod Steel Mill. His whole life, worked in a mill. No education, sent his kids to Catholic school. That's amazing. I just happen to fall into all the right buckets. The people before us were amazing. Let's honor them. Let's honor their legacy. And for those people who did bad things and weren't amazing, let's continue to prove them wrong.
Yeah. What's that? What's the name of that song? It's one of my favorite ones. I can't think of it right now.
If you name it, I'll sing it.
Yeah,
My singing's horrible.
the guy's singing about the leader of the band.
Mm.
What's the song? Leader of the band.
Is that the?
Yeah, I think it might just be called Leader of the Band, but anyways, it's a guy honoring his dad. But every time I hear that song, I'm just on.
Dan.
Yeah, Dan
Fogelberg.
Fogelberg.
Yeah, leader of the band.
Yeah. Every time I hear that song, I'm thinking about everybody, alive and dead, before me, that helped me be able to do what I'm doing.
Well, I'm trying to think of songs. I'm thinking Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah.
Now, my voice is scratchy. This is going to come out horrible.
Uh-oh.
I'll give you the first line of it. If you are what you think you are, a superstar, then have no fear. The world is here.
Okay.
And so, be more than who you are. Don't live your life in fear. And live your life in faith, not fear. Fear is conquerable.
Yeah.
Real obstacles can be overcome. It's only the imaginary ones that can't. What you waiting for?
All right. Thanks, brother.
Peace
Yep.
and love.
Love you, man. All right. Thanks, Pat.
Ryan, generate some more of that data, some more of those stats.
I got you. Yeah, on the for the marijuana stats, I've got a few things. So from 2024 to 2025, total alcohol sales are down 7%.
Boom!
I've got some specific ones on the Gen Z. Gen Z accounts for just 4% of total alcohol sales, generating roughly $3.1 billion.
Sell your stocks in alcohol now.
By comparison, boomers, Gen X, and millennials each spend between 23 and 27.5 billion.
And that group's aging in place.
Yeah. So that it's a huge gap.
Drinking's down. I'm not interested in drinking anymore. I don't know what happened. My body just doesn't even want it. It's not like I was a big drinker for a long time, anyways.
I like a little bit of wine with
Yeah.
an Italian meal or something,
Yeah.
and to be social. But anybody who says, "Let's go get a drink at lunch," like maybe you're at GM or something. That's what they did.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I know.
I don't know anybody who does that.
No.
Why would you do that? Let's go have a lunch drink. Don't do that.
Shifting, huh?
What's that?
It's shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, a little bit.
Your generation, Ryan, is going in another direction, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And again, since I'm in your office, if we're still recording right now, I tell anybody, if you own alcohol stocks, you're not advising buying them, are you?
I'm not saying a word. You say whatever you want.
And I don't know that I'd be buying any marijuana stocks right now. There's a shakeout. And there's a Canadian marijuana firm that's looking to take over one of the copper mines in the UP. Did you read that?
No.
Yeah. What, I'm going to join your firm here, start giving out investment
What, a
advice?
marijuana firm wants to join?
Yeah, one of the biggest in Canada.
I didn't
And
know
there's an abandoned copper mine, and they want to start growing marijuana in it. But the copper people think that there might be some opportunity to reopen it up.
Yeah, I heard that they're trying to reopen it. I didn't know anything about a pot company.
Yeah, I don't know where that is in God's country, but
It's over in the Porkies area.
could be. They still think there's some copper veins there. With the technology, maybe they can dig deeper and more affordable, but there's still a shakeout coming in the marijuana business too.
Yeah. Yeah, the problem with the pot stocks is they got so crazy valued. People were buying in and
Before we cut, I know it keeps going on. This feels like Lord of the Rings. Done. Bikes. You want to get a good bike? Go to the Ferndale Bike Shop at 9 and Woodward. John Hughes owns it. He is amazing. He's had like the top bike shop for like the last 15 years in the Metro Times. People think, I got to have a Trek bike. And it's a good bike, but you don't. Jamis or Felt. Jamis, Felt. I only rock Jamis bikes. They're so good. These bike companies, they build the frames and they buy components off the shelf from other places. Trek has a lot of things that they buy on them, they make themselves. But don't go out there if you want to start biking, buy a cheap bike. Go to Kmart, not Kmart, Target, spend $150. Save your money. A good bike can be had, just a decent bike, for $600.
Yeah.
Kind of mid-level, get you 800, get you a little bit above there, get better. People stop biking for 2 reasons. Their tires are gone flat because, or they don't have enough air in their tires, and who wants to pedal a bike that's like more resistance? And they're in crappy bikes. You don't have to spend a lot. John Hughes will never try to sell you a bike, ever. He just say, okay, here's what we got. Here's what we recommend. He don't care if you buy or not. He's that kind of dude. You go at the end of the night, they usually have pizza and beer. They got dogs. Dogs are in there. You want to go to a shop like that. Cool dude.
All right. I'll check it out sometime.
And our website is We Bike Detroit on Facebook. If anybody wants to join, come on out. If you want a more private ride and see if you can do it, let me know. We'll hook you up.
All right. Highly recommended. I love your rides.
Yeah. Better end it before I start talking again. I like to talk.
All right. That's good. Thanks, man.
Thanks, James.
Yeah.
Ta-da.